Hello, people. Good afternoon, good evening, and of course, a good morning to some people. Sorry, I mixed that up. Usually, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. I hope you're all doing well, and I really do mean that. Welcome back to Chelsea's Perspective. Welcome back to another transfer show / Chelsea news on a Chelsea Perspective. Quite a lot of stuff to talk about. I had to do this because, the Blue Morning Show did not hold due to technical difficulties. Specifically, again, I wasn't. We had an audio-related issue, and I wasn't able to fix it. So no need to start in the show as it persisted. So, but that's by the way. Here we will have some fun this evening. I'm hoping to have some panelists join me again to help bring different perspectives of opinions, so it is not just a me. But if that doesn't happen, again, I will roll solo, and I enjoy reading your contributions in the chat, and I promise you it will still be a fun show. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, again, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another Transfer Watch show on Chelsea Perspective. This is, again, Transfer Watch / a Chelsea news show. Again, random topics. Random topics. We'll pick a lot of stuff out there. And again, if someone in the chat introduces a new topic or ask a question, we will talk about it, because it's always, we keep it interactive here. It's not just about the panelists. Again, more importantly, it is about those in the chat. They provide more value, to the community, because we've grown beyond a channel to a community than those on the panels. Yeah, so thank you very much. Again, let's see what we already have here. Again, no Kante should stay. Again, Nehemiah Fowler. Again, it all comes down to what the new owners want. And to me, I'm concerned really that they may well let him go. But again, if they understand his value, if they understand that we're talking about the same N'Golo Kante, again, who helped us win the Europa Cup under Mauricio Sarri, even when he wasn't fully fit, he was half fit again. And N'Golo Kante, who wasn't fully fit, helped us win the Champions League. Okay, because whether you like it or not, again, the eye is strong. You could argue that the UEFA Champions League that we won again, that final against Manchester City was won in the midfield, and it was down to N'Golo Kante's energy and ability to read the game. But we're not going to get into that right now. I hope they let him stay. Again, a blue afternoon, evening, Coachila panel and chat. Again, sent to you. Liam Lane says it looks like Vavel. Again, Christoph, I like to call him his first name. His last name is not easy to pronounce at all. I must let you know that. Again, looks like Vivo will be our new technical director. Yes, I'm seeing that again. But these days I'm very cautious as to what I suck up to, as to what things I just jump to and say, yeah, you know what? It looks like this is happening. We heard how close. Again, was it Christoph Friond? Again, how he was out there. It's a matter of, hours that the deal is done, and he himself openly admitted to Chelsea having approached him, and at the end of the day, he ended up not joining us. So I wouldn't, again, hold my breath on that news, but it is believable. The smoke has become so thick. Again, it's only, you have to believe that, yeah, it's happening. And I'm seeing Liam Lane again, though I haven't seen that in the back end. They're saying Romano said this evening. Yeah, I saw that too. I think I watched the video too. But the truth remains, again, he also did say something when he was when Freund was the front runner again for the role of the not technical director, but that way was I think director of football or so. And again, what I'm seeing out there just looks like a lot of people are mixing up what a technical director does and what the director of football does. I'm not sure. Again, it's easy to mix them up. Again, maybe a club could hire one and then have them carry out multiple, again, you could say tasks, even the tasks that the director of football should be doing. But I'm not going to get into that right now because I myself, I'm a bit confused as to what role he will be fulfilling for Chelsea Football Club. Maybe until that is confirmed, then you can be sure. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. And looking at the the poll that I have there, which asks the questioner, should Chelsea let Kante go? 57% says no. Again, 43% says yes. Again, it's easy to forget. Again, Kante is actually, you could argue in the category, you could, group them you could put them in the same category as Luka Modric in terms of, again, his uniqueness in the world of football. Again, the fact that there will never be another Luka Modric. There are players who are able of, doing things he's able to do, but there will never be him. And that the same goes to N'Golo Kante. He's very different. There will never be N'Golo Kante. There are all the players who are able to read the game, who you could say, show the same energy that Kante shows whenever he's on the pitch, but they will never be N'Golo Kante. So I think Kante is very unique. That again, if I were one of those who can, if I want one of those decision makers at Chelsea Football Club, I'd never let him go. Just find a way to manage him, find a way to accommodate him. Again, but his isn't that simple because you could say one of the most you could say pronounced qualities that define N'Golo Kante as a player is his energy. Again, the amount of running he does on the pitch on any given day. But you could say he has all the attributes, his ability. Again, he's a good passer of the ball, although he's being stereotyped to the measure that most people don't look beyond those. It's the amount of running he does on the pitch or the amount of energy he shows on the pitch. That's quite unfortunate for him. But he's actually a fine. When you say he's a fine creator, and he's also he could be a fine finisher too. And again, he reads the game quite well. He doesn't necessarily need, how do I phrase it? Need his the energy that he's and the amount of running he does on the pitch to be as effective as he can be because he can read the game. His ability to read the game and his ability to break up opposition play, you could say, are the reasons why people have over time stereotyped N'Golo Kante as a defensive midfielder, but he's actually traditionally an 8. But because of his ability to win the ball, break up opposition play, again, most people, if you ask them, they would tell you he is actually he is a defensive midfielder when he is traditionally not really one. Again, but that's, by the way, again, I hope we keep him. He does more there's more. He has more to offer to the club than most people know. But it remains to be seen whether the club understands that. But I'm really concerned, given the fact that under Romain's reign, they were trying to offer him a 3+1 contract. and for the new owners to be offering him something less, 2+1, to him, I think he'd be, if I were him, I'd be insulted. Maybe he'd feel like he's not valued. The club doesn't value him that much anymore, or maybe the club doesn't see him as important anymore. Which again, it's a human thing for him to feel like, okay, it's time to move on. And one thing, again, one thing I've always talked about is the fact that we've played how many games without him right now, and you could say the team, the club, they've done well in his absence. Again, even though I know, Porter and again, Todd Boehly and his fellow co-owners will recognize, must have learned over time that really we do need this guy and we can do better with him on the pitch. But it's a human thing because we've been able to, to get results in his absence, again, do well in his absence. Again, it's a human thing for, Todd Boehly maybe to say, you know what, we can actually do without this guy because the truth remains money is involved. He's asking for probably, I don't know how much, but again, when he's up for a contract renewal, which means he's asking for more than he's been earning. And given that he's the club's one of the club's biggest earners, I think the monetary aspect, the financial aspect of the whole thing, I don't see Boehly and his co-owners taking that lightly. They would want him to drop it or let him go because they've argued again he's injury prone, which Thomas Tuchel spoke about openly in the public, and I didn't like that because to him again I don't know how that will come across to him, but for me as an individual, it will come across as okay now you're highlighting my injury record again. But all the while, when it was me doing all the work for all the slower players in the teams to be accommodated, you did not say something like that. But all of a sudden now I'm injury prone because it's time for me to get a new contract. So again, all those things, I think, again, it just doesn't make sense. I think the club should consider it carefully, again, before letting him go. It was sending the wrong message to some of the players and to potential new signings. But I don't see N'Golo Kante as the type of player, as the type of individual who, over time we've come to recognize, as an exemplary professional. I don't think he'll make too much force of it. If it does, I think he was saying the wrong message. Again, players who'd be looking to sign for the club will be concerned of how they'd be treated when the club consider them, prone to injury. Or again, it just seems as if he's being used and dumped. Or maybe to some extent, I wouldn't be surprised if he's seeing it as if he's being betrayed, because him being injury prone it comes down to, how much we played him. We overplayed him practically because we recognize at those times that he was one of our best players, that without him, we're practically useless in the midfield area. The French national team, Deschamps, they did the same thing to him. So we should show him that we appreciate him and not show him again and not make it seem as if, okay, yeah, you served your purpose for us and now it's time to dump you. I don't think it's a good idea. But that's why the way we move on from that. The only thing with Kante is his wages cannot be justified if he is injured so much. Again, if he dropped down on his wages, maybe a deal can be done. The question let me ask you this question. If you were N'Golo Kante, would you drop your wages, knowing fully well that there will not be shortage of clubs willing to come for you? Plus, if you live on a free, you'd get a sign-on fee too. And again, and there are no, again, I'm arguing this, again, I have to be honest, there are no shortage of clubs that are willing to be paying him, again, nearly twice as much as what he's earning at Chelsea Football Club at this point. Again, it doesn't look like we're looking at what he's capable of doing. I wouldn't mind keeping Kante at the club, even if he ends up just playing it just around. Again, you could say half of the game in the season. It's just finding a very, you could say a way to accommodate him, not overplay him, play him sparingly. He'd still, do enough for that club that can measure the amount of money that we're paying him. But again, it's not up to me. The whole thing comes down to what the club wants to do with Kante. But let's see what they do. Okay, let's start looking at the topics that we have lined up to address. I hope I don't mix them up here. Just give me a second. Not that one. I want this one open here. Okay, we'll be looking at the topics one by one, and if you have anything new you feel like you'd want us to talk about, please bring it up. Again, we will talk about Fofana's injury. Again, we'll also talk about Trevor Chalobah's comments on his future after, again, I think he granted an interview to who exactly, I don't remember. So here it says, again, Christopher. It looks like they're all Christopher. The other one was also Christopher Fried, correct me if I'm wrong. But we wanted to hire him for a different role, not the, again, technical director role. Christopher Vivell, who had been at Leipzig since 2020, held talks with Chelsea in London on Tuesday. Again, RB says RB Leipzig put Vivell's departure down to differing views. It is understood, again, that the Bundesliga club are unhappy with the 35-year-old seeking another role. That's quoting Garden there. Here's the thing, again, that's one thing that's very common in the corporate world, because you could count them as a corporate. They're a business entity, after all, before they're a football club. Again, I don't like a situation to see if somebody wants to take a different role, maybe to advance their career, it becomes an issue with the organization. I don't think, again, which means they're not for growth. They don't care. They don't care much about the growth of the individuals that work for them. I don't think it's a good thing, by the way. Again, I don't know this guy too well, but it sounds as if, again, some people, some quarters at the club are excited about, the prospect of him joining the club. So I look forward to that happening again. But I learned also that the club are looking to hire even more people. Again, they want, how do I phrase it? I think they want people who are specializing in all departments, not just have a single individual, but handling multiple roles. That can be a very, very, again, you can say doing that will make the whole process be even more seamless, and the club can achieve more by having a proper division of labor, if you allow me to phrase it that way. Big up Coachila, big up to you too. Again, Todd, Boehly, nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for finding the time to join. If you haven't, please keep liking the video, and also do subscribe to the channel. Let me see what else we'll have lined up. And if you're in the chat, again, I'm willing to discuss whatever topic you bring up. Again, happy to do that. And we have the Queen of the House. She says, big up Coachila. I came over for a few minutes before going to bed. Again, yes, and I did see the messages you sent to me. I haven't had the time to do that, and I responded with the questions. So if you have time, please do look at it and respond. Okay, let's see what else we have here. We have, again, Chelsea have recruited. Okay, this says probably it's done already. No, okay, that's a different person. Chelsea have recruited Freddie Murray. I have to be honest, I don't know the guy. I don't know him at all. On a consultancy basis, with a brief to provide advisory services to the club. And it's a medical team and a structure, remedies staff. Again, a company founded by Murray have already begun treating the club's players. Again, as Todd is saying, it just seems as if he doesn't trust the club's medical team, which again, for a while, even during the making of some of my videos, I've heard people argue that we have one of the best medical team, again, in Europe. What has changed, I don't know. So maybe for some reason he feels like they're not doing a good enough job and wants to revamp that aspect of the club to get in his own people, or people he believes would do better job than those at the club at this point. So again, they're really making some changes, and that reminds me of Bobby's comment that it's just as if the club they're looking to cut ties with all employees, that are somehow aligned. All employees. Let me see, how do I phrase it? That have worked on the past, again, the owner before them, which makes sense. Again, I don't know how to phrase that argument. A lot of firing and a lot of hiring going on at Chelsea Football Club. And here's my bro, and it's late for you, big up, bro. Almighty Blues FC, big up, nice to see you, brother. Yes, I decided to do this one this evening. because the Blue Morning show didn't hold. I had a serious technical issue that I wasn't able to rectify on time. So that was why I pushed the show to this point. Again, I'm going solo. If I have anybody join me on the panel, fine. If not, I enjoy, again, interacting with those in the chat. And if you haven't, if you're here, I know we don't have too many people here, please go and check out Almighty Blues FC YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. Let me see what else we have here. Again, this is, I think I've read this one too. Yep, I think I've read that one. And here we see again, Chalobah on his future. Again, a lot of rumors that he wanted to leave. To me, reading what we have on the screen here, it doesn't really sound like Chalobah wanted to leave. I think, like I've argued before, even Ty did argue the same thing. His sounds, it comes across to me as a very confident, again, individual who doesn't shy away from competition, from the way he speaks and how, again, we'll see what happens. I want him to stay, and he showed how important he can be for us. Again, ask yourself the question: if he had left the club when the rumors were swirling that he was already negotiating with some clubs, or some clubs are interested in taking them, what in the world would have Graham Potter, would have he done if we still didn't have Trevor Chalobah in our ranks after what's his name again? Wesley Fofana left the pitch after a strained knee, as we're learning in a few hours back. Again, so again, it makes sense for the club to keep him. He's a fine player. He's proven himself. But it's just because we were on the verge of signing Wesley Fofana, then some quarters of the club started calling for him to leave, which would have been a very, very serious mistake. And I'm glad he stayed. Says this time again suits me more as a viewer. Really? I thought it was too early. It will be late at night for you there. I didn't know that. Okay. As a viewer, but you're a content creator yourself, so probably on most occasions you'd be busy making your own content. I'm glad Chalobah is here. I'm glad he's here, and there's no way Fofana, you can say, there's no way Fofana plays again the whole season. Again, he will be rotating with Chalobah, who's proven himself capable of fulfilling that role, the right centre back role specifically. So it wouldn't make sense to let him go, and I hope the club don't make that mistake. As much as I know, again, Cesar Spilicueta can fulfill that role. You and I, again, everybody in the chat know he's not getting any younger. I cannot see Kante again in Arsenal's spots, please. Let's really talk about that. The truth remains, again, from what I've heard so far, from what we're learning, it doesn't seem like the club are too eager to keep him. Maybe I could be wrong, but if they keep him, I'd really love it. Maybe they don't know, they don't really recognize they don't really recognize again how important he is, or maybe again I don't know how else do I phrase this to make sense of it at all. Again, let me just repeat myself, and it's something that again it's worth repeating because it's factual. We're talking about a player who, again, we won the Europa League under Mauricio Sarri when he was half fit. We won the UEFA Champions League final with him. He wasn't fully fit. Again, that's why I said we should put them in the category of Thiago Silva in terms of how long they can play football. Again, Thiago Silva, Luka Modric, again, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Again, he's one of those players you don't just let them go. You find a way to accommodate them. It's as simple as that. And Kante is the guy, again, he's a big game player. The bigger the occasion, the better he is. But we were quick to judge him. And again, from my observation, I'd say the whole thing was due to that two-leg Champions League match. It was his semi-final or so against Real Madrid. He was fasting. And he usually breaks a fast 15 minutes before the game starts, and people still judge him, not paying attention to how the fast, can it actually impair his judgment and how he'd not be, fully ready to play. But we still played him. Thomas Tuchel didn't consider the fact that again that he wouldn't be fully ready and offer other options in the midfield, but played him because he understood he valued him so much. He understood how important of a player he is to the club. So it just wouldn't make sense to let him go. And the truth is, again, we can't stop him from joining Arsenal Hot-spurs. Why do I say that? Because he'd end up living on a free. And again, he will not be in a hurry to join any club come January. He probably, again, he understands that if he leaves on a free, he'd, get a sign-on fee, which will be quite a lot of money. And probably there won't be shortage of clubs willing to pay him nearly twice as much as what he's earning right now. Again, my overall argument is we should find a way to accommodate him. We should find a way to manage him, play him sparingly. It still helps us achieve more as a player. And again, one thing I said, and I'm still saying it, again, I think he'd feel betrayed overall. And given the fact that the previous owner had a 3+1 again on the table from him, and the new owners, they are offering him 2+1, plus, making it public that they are factoring his injury record into the new contract, which is, to me, it's I must say, it's disrespectful, because you could argue we were the ones that used him, ran into the ground, and now we want to dump him because we feel like he's not that valuable to us anymore. So I wouldn't, again, I think the club should find a way, find a solution and make sure he remains at the club. Again, here it says, again, Chalobah going nowhere. I believe so, to 100% agree. Thank you very much for agreeing with me. Again, Coachila, you're being too sentimental. Liam, you're looking for my fight now. You're saying I'm being sentimental for Kante again. Sentimental. This is Aaron business again, and the likes of his wages cannot be justified if he spends so much time injured, and that's because. Liam, can you tell me why has he spent so much time on the doctor's table? It is simple because of the way we used them. We overused them. We didn't use them again sparingly, knowing that again his agent. We always wanted him on the pitch. Even sometimes we rushed him back from injuries without giving him time enough to recover. And again, I think you can argue. I'm happy, and I'm happy seeing that maybe Potter is being a bit cautious. Because I actually thought maybe he'd play him against AC Milan, but he didn't. He's been a bit cautious, recognizing that we need to play him sparingly. But again, let's compare how much we're paying him to how much he's capable of helping us achieve. I'd take him. I'd keep him anytime, any day. Just play him sparingly. He's a big game player, and like I've mentioned before, the bigger the occasion, okay, the better Kante is. Again, you and I know that's the truth. But that's, by the way, if you're watching, if you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. And again, my apologies there that we didn't, again, the Blue Morning Show didn't host. And again, we would try to do a predicted lineup. I just wanted to get this over with, to do a predicted lineup before and end it on time, maybe 2 hours show or an hour to 30 minutes, and end it on time because we have a pre-game show and also a watch along. But I get your argument. Liam, that's hilarious. You just straight up said, I'm being sentimental. I think we will find a way to make him agree to the 2-1-year contract, but I don't see him taking a wage cut, knowing fully well that there are other clubs who'd be willing to pay him more than we're paying him, and he gets a sign-on fee too. We seem to forget that. Here's the thing: as much as football is business for the owners of the club, it is equally business for the players. Football is how they earn money. They earn a living to put food on the table for their families. So yeah, again, so I think he probably considered the fact that, okay, if he lives on a free, he'd get a sign-on fee. Plus, again, he'd probably get more money than Chelsea are willing to pay him. But I think I'm sensing it that the current owners are looking, to look beyond N'Golo Kante, given the fact that they're offering him less than the previous owners are willing to offer to him. Hello, everyone. Why am I hearing Aubameyang to PSG? It's all nonsense. Yeah, I heard that too. And Kim, so I'm guessing you're really concerned now, given that he's opened his account and he's showing how again lethal he can be in front of goal. Most people are warming up to him. I don't think it's going to happen. He's with us. If they want to take him, they'd have to pay money to take him. I don't think it happens in a million years. And he's enjoying himself. He's lived in London. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. It's all what I think. I saw DJ Sub again releasing again. DJ Sub again responded to one of those. I think you see that from Daily Mail or so. I'm not sure what outlet there. I saw that again. It's never going to happen. Kante again, except if we end up not offering him what he wants. But again, okay, in the case of Kante, yeah. But for Aubameyang, he's not going anywhere. Kante also, there's a chance they still find a solution and keep him. Sorry, I got things mixed up there because I was reading something else in my update screen. I vote no. If it's not coming, then he should leave Chelsea. Should Chelsea? So if it's not gonna join Barcelona, he should just leave Chelsea. That's you being selfish there, my friend. But I understand. Again, Barcelona will take him any day if he will agree to join them. By the way, hi Coach and Blues. Hi to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding time to join us. Hi Kim. So I am thinking those are just rumors. Not even rumors. It's made up stories. Again, the transfer window is closed. So again, to get people to click and read whatever nonsense they have out there, again, they have to, put out such nonsense out there. Again, this is not just brown envelopes. This is just absolute clickbait, maybe. I hope all of you are well. I am so tired. Good night. Good night to you too, Kimzo. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. More importantly, I hope you're well. Again, let me see what else you have here. Again, have been avoiding this conversation all day. I don't want Kante to go. Even the thought of it is pissing you off. And again, the most concerning of the whole thing is this. If he leaves on a free, then there's a chance he joins Arsenal or Tottenham. And I'm sure Tottenham, he will most likely decide to join Tottenham if eventually he leaves the club. Why? Because he's played under Antonio Conte. You could say he played his best football. Maybe Sarri, the argument of how well he played under Sarri comes into play, but I think he'd jump into the opportunity of playing for Antonio Conte again at Tottenham. And if he feels, again, to any measure, a sense of betrayal, he could care less what the fans think, because the truth remains it is business after all for the club owners as much as it is business for the players. AD, again, love for blue. How are you doing, brother? Eddie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear you, Coachila.
Okay.
Bro.
Yeah, let's start you with the Kante, with the Kante's rumors. Again, it is rumors, or a rumor over. There are rumors, after all, that he wants to stay in London. And if that's the case, truly, the only two clubs I believe he'd be willing to join, London clubs, are Arsenal and Tottenham. I know as much as we don't want to see that happen, if he leaves Chelsea on a bad note, if the relationship sours, he would choose to join any club he wants, not minding what the fans thinks, not minding the rivalry between the two clubs. And that is especially true if he ends up living on a free. Again, there's a chance he accepts PSG if they want him, because France is home. But I want to get your thought on the whole rumors. We've been hearing about regarding N'Golo Kante's future.
Yes. You see, if you remember, we spoke about this from some few weeks back about us. What would the fans think about if they don't offer him the 3 years plus 1 that he was looking for? And you remember I said it would be strange and very surprising if they allowed Kante to leave. But I now said again then that based on, I don't see the new owners giving him the 3 plus 1, because that was actually the agreement with the previous owner. So, and I said if they ended up allowing him to leave, it would be surprising to us. But to these new owners, they might go a different direction from Kante, and it would have the input of Potter as well. And depending on what they know that we do not know about the injury situation, which they might not make public. So, but it will be so devastating if Kante should leave. Also, if he leaves for the likes of Arsenal or, as is rumored, Tottenham or wherever it is. I don't really see that happening though. If Kante leaves, then I know.
Why do you think that wouldn't happen?
I think Kante, out of respect, will not do that. I see him as somebody that will have.
He throws away respect through the window if he feels betrayed. Because I have to be honest, as much as I love Thomas Tuchel, I hated the fact that he was openly, saying how Kante's, injury and his age will be factored into the new contract. I don't think it makes sense. Because you could argue we're actually the ones that ran this guy into the ground. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, that's right. You're very correct there, yeah, because the way it was handled wasn't the best. So I think some players might say they will throw respect out of the window. But Kante, I don't think he will do that, except if he has, these players now, everything depends on their family. If his family is settled in London, if they don't want to move to a different place, then if he ends up going to Arsenal, we'll understand that based on what has happened. But I think it will be more of going abroad, maybe a PSG or somewhere else, and if it happens that Kante ends up leaving, I say there will be two factors that would have made up the mind of the board. Maybe his injury is something that they don't think they can manage, and then two, the contract situation where they said they can't offer him the 3+1, and then maybe they're going a different direction. Because if you see, the report has been saying, I was thinking it's one of the two. Maybe if we say we're going for Bellingham, it will be either Bellingham or Declan Rice. But the way it stands now, they're actually in for both Declan Rice and the Bellingham. So if they go that direction of getting Bellingham and Declan Rice, which it will be very, very hard for the club to be able to pull that off. But if they do, then kudos to them. And then if we have those two players, and I see Jorginho moving on as well, then we have the likes of Cassidy to come in, and all the young lads they bought, like Chukwuemeka and everybody will be integrated into the team. So, but if it happens that Kante ends up leaving, I wouldn't say it will be only based on the contract situation, because I see Kante, if they are offering him a 2+1, he can actually accept that from Chelsea. But it will be more than what we actually know behind the scenes, and that might not come out in the open until maybe later. If he ends up leaving, we'll now know the true what actually transpired, But for now, it will just be speculation and speculation. But I tell you, there is no smoke without fire. There is no rumors without atom of truth in it. There will be something happening somewhere that will bring out this rumor, and then it might turn out to be true. So just like we talked about N'Kuku now is turning out to be like it's a real story now. It's no more a rumor anymore. The way it's going now. You understand what I'm saying?
Which, just to be specific, Eddie, I understand your point. The way you're saying things, again, for me, I think the club, they feel like they can do without him and are ready to move on from him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. But it will be based, like I said, it will be based on what the injury record, what they have at their disposal. Would they be able to manage it? Because if he plays, say, in a season, Kante is only fit for, say, 10 games, 100%. I don't think they will like that anyway. I don't think so.
But if you compare again, let's say weighing again, how many times he'd be out the whole season, and what he's capable of doing. You could say in terms of big game players at the club, except Thiago Silva is the only person that's capable of measuring how he's able to, to show the big games, come out on top, be the best. And like example I've used, he was half fit when he played in that Europa League final. Europa League final on the Mauritius side. He wasn't fully fit before and he played the Champions League final like that, and he was one of our best players. But go ahead with what you're saying. I'm just saying, again, we should find a way to accommodate him. He would do more for us than us. I don't know how it's again. I'm not the one writing the checks, but if I were one of those decision makers, I'd keep him, knowing fully well that even if he gets to play just 26 games per season, it's a lot. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. But one thing we do not know as well is this new contract. Would it include a wage increase? If they say okay, which I think might come with a wage increase, and it's already on a very huge wage as it stands. So if it's going to come with a huge wage increase, then 3+1, they might look at it as taking a big risk on him. That's what they will look at because the injury is creeping, is now taking its toll on him. But for us as fans, and for what the player has done and the kind of player he is someone that we should say we want to keep. But if you look at the squad we have now, we have so many players that are well over 30. And I think they want to bring down that age. They want to really, really bring down that age, irrespective of which player he is. So I think
even
that's
that
the
balance is
direction
still key. You need experience.
Yeah, we need experience, but we need fit experience. That's what they'll tell you. If Kante was fit, then they'll tell you, yes, we need experience, but it has to be like a Silva, Thiago Silva. Nobody will say Thiago Silva looking for. Thiago Silva is always fit. But Thiago Silva doesn't do the kind of work that Kante does for us. Kante does a lot for the team. So if we don't know how they can manage Kante, so are we going to manage Kante to only play him in big games? And then he'll be on that big wage and it's going to be 3+1 for 4 years or 3 years, whatever it is, and if they take the option of the 4th year. So we really don't know. So they might look at it because these people are purely businessmen. I tell you, they are more of businessmen than football people. So they look at it from the angle of business. Does this make business sense to us? Or does it make business sense for the club? So they will look at it from that angle more than a footballing reason.
Yeah.
And what they want is, you understand what I'm saying? So they will look at it from that business angle. If we give him this contract and he ends up not playing this much, we're going to end up paying. So from a business angle, it is not the best for them because they are not footballing people per se. So, but if they want to look at it and say, yes, this guy is very key to this team, and then that's its footballing angle. They look at it from the footballing aspect, and then it needs the input of the manager, maybe the technical director, the sporting director, or whatever, to say, okay, and the medical staff, the medical team as well, to say, yes, we think based on this and A plus B plus C, we could manage this player and we'll be able to get him to play more than half or maybe a lot of games for us, and he'll be fit. You know, so that it's kind of dicey situation.
It is, yeah, it's not that straightforward.
It's not that straightforward. It's not that straightforward at all. So I think you'll be shocked. We will be shocked anyway, but it's not something that you could put past these new owners to take the decision. Say Kante has to leave if he doesn't accept the 2+1. So it's now down to Kante to accept it because I think they will be ready to give him a 2+1. But the 3+1,
but he wants a 3+1. Probably at least I think it's not looking good. Him staying at Chelsea is really not looking good. Again, more importantly, the fact that the previous owner under Roman, they had 3+1 and now it's 2+1. But that's, by the way, again, the poll that asks the question: should Chelsea let Kante go? 30% says yes, 70% says no. I think a lot of people still want him to stay, but it all comes down to what the new owners want. Again, they look at things from a lot of perspectives. And then if you're in the chat and Nightbot timed you out, probably because she used 3 emojis at the same time, more than 3 emojis at the same time. So it's not a human being, it's a software, so you don't think anybody there timed you out. But that's, by the way, again, yeah, the Kante situation is really stressing me. I'm going to catch up with that and I'll come back. Good to have Eric, again, to have, Roger on the panel, but I'll get back to him in a bit. I've read that one, and this one says that Auber story may be rubbish. I think that Auber story more rubbish, a talk from Twitter. Not even Twitter. I think it's on, actually shared. I think it's an article on some, one of them was Daily Mail, so I'm not sure. Then shared on Twitter by someone. It's absolute nonsense. I don't think Auber is going anywhere. Ken, big up, everyone, big up to you too. I cannot believe many Chelsea fans are voting for Kante to go. Well, again, not really many. It's 71% to 28 now, but you could say that's many, really. But again, because, like I said, the last time we talked about it, that's a chance if we do well in his absence. Again, we get that, especially the fans, that's a false sense of security that we can actually do without N'Golo Kante. Whereas at this point, I don't see us here. But again, we need him. Let me just face it that way. Again, smash the like button, people. We have 22 likes. We can do better than that. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Humble opinion: after Reece James, Kante is the best that you have at this point, I don't think Reece James is actually measuring Kante. Reece is good and probably will overtake Kante as, again, in terms of what Kante has achieved at Chelsea. I think, yeah, but I get your opinion there. Again, to be frank, even Antonio Conte started him almost every game. I don't remember when Sarri was around. Sarri played him further forward. But Kante, wow, Antonio Conte, yeah, you're right. Played him nearly every game. It looks like, again, we couldn't do without N'Golo Kante under Antonio Conte. Yeah, so again, the whole thing, my comment about, again, we ran Kante to the ground. It's not just us, even Deschamps, the French national team coach, they value him so much, then they'd rather play him with a broken leg than not. Again, that's how bad it is. And he does the job, gets the best out of Paul Pogba, gets the best out of Jorginho, and whoever you pair him with, because he runs so much, and that energy, it doesn't look like he gets tired at all. Hello, everyone there. Again, King Eyes, again, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Let me see if there's anything else to address here. Again, we should offload Jorginho, give Kante, again, contracts. Yeah, Tuchel overused him. Not just Tuchel. Tuchel didn't overuse Kante, actually. But what you could argue is Tuchel probably on most occasions rushed him back from injury just for him to be part of the team and all that. Steve Silva is never injured. That's why he is playing. Yeah, he plays. He doesn't. Should I say he doesn't use so much energy whenever he's on the pitch? Again, what defines Silva's ability the most is his intelligence, not really power or pace or anything. Maybe this done by Kante's agent to Chelsea, give him a special contract. I don't think that's the case. And to my brother, Eric, big up, bro. Good afternoon, coach. Long time no see. You don't tell my brother. I hope so you did well, but I understand bills don't pay themselves, so we're all busy. Nice to see you, bro. Here again, I love Kante to beat, but not way can the club give him but no way can the club give him the same or more money for 3 years. But we're really not sure what the holdup is with the offer. We're not sure whether it has to do with the money or the length of the contract and all that. But we'll find out. Why can't Chelsea use Kante for 5 minutes? Again, every game, rotation is key. After all, we had players on the bench under some coaches that all they do is to come just to help us finish the game off. Kante is that again. He still has a lot to offer to us, and I'd hate in my life to see him join Arsenal or Tottenham. And the possibility of that happening is there because if he leaves on a free, you don't get to tell him where to go. You only tell him where to go when you're selling him to some clubs that are interested in securing his signature. Again, it says again, if Kante do only one work, we will see the best of Kante. That's just that, yeah. But age doesn't matter. Look at Modric, Silva. We need him. That's why I argued before. Kante, he falls into the category of Silva. Again, a Modric, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and all those players. We just have to find a way to use them, and he himself has to adapt his game. But again, I have to be honest. Given that, again, that is one of the most pronounced factors that defines Kante's ability as a player is the amount of running he does on the pitch. So the question remains: if he's not able to run that much, on the pitch, are we going to still be to see, the best of Kante? That's another question for another day. I have to be honest, but I still want the club to keep him. Kante shouldn't be overused. To play him key games in different Porter's ball system, he will thrive. And I think Porter can't wait actually to have him in his team. But that's, by the way, again, Steve agreed on that. If he is used sparingly, but a coach will find out how to do that. So many big games. Again, I'm still laughing at the way Liam Lane attacked me quickly, that I'm being sentimental. But I get your point, bro. I'm just kidding anyway. Roger, how are you doing, brother?
Hola, senor.
That's Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish.
¿Cómo está? Neither do I, trust me.
But how are you doing, man?
I'm splendid, sir. How are you?
I can't complain. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the panel. I'm going to end the poll. It is 75% no and 25% yes. So when I want to ask you, what do you think about the Kante's situation? And I'm sure you must have already seen the rumors out there that he wants to stay in London. And, be rest assured, if he stays in London, the most likely clubs that he would join will be two of our biggest rivals in Arsenal and Tottenham. Most likely, you could say Tottenham, given how well he did under Antonio Conte. And Conte would jump at the opportunity of getting him, especially if it's on a free, because I'm not sure would be willing to sell to Tottenham or Arsenal in January. So your thoughts on the situation, what do you think the club should do?
Okay, so the term great, it's used so often and overly so, in my opinion. But when you're talking about N'Golo Kante, I put him in the category of great. And I say this with all due respect to other players. I think on our team, on our roster, I think we only have two great players so far. And I believe that'll be Silva and Kante. If I'm writing the sheet down for who's going to be on my, assuming everyone is healthy, he would be the first person I put down on that sheet. And I think it's fair to say that most coaches around, let's say, the top 5 European leagues, for instance, I think that's a safe bet to say that I would assume that would also be the case with them. I think he's pivotal to Chelsea. As you said, we won the Europa League basically with him being the best player on one leg. I think we don't win the Champions League with him. Remember one thing, he's one League Cup away from emulating what Azpilicueta has achieved, to be the second person only to win every conceivable trophy that Chelsea can compete in. So that's rarefied air, I truly believe he's great. With regards to him moving to another team, I'd like to know the sources, the credibility of the source, because that's the most.
No, it's just again. Here's the thing: the whole thing starts that he wants to remain in London. That is, if he leaves Chelsea.
But he's not a London chap. He's from, I believe, he's a Paris product, isn't he? So I find that it's possible. I'm not. Well, I don't know the validity of the source, but I shouldn't, disparage that source or put it out of relevance. But I would say that I'm somewhat dubious about it, because he wasn't a prodigy of or a product of our junior squad, Cobham. So he doesn't come from there. He's been in multiple other teams in France and in England, Leicester prior to us. So maybe, and I don't believe he has a family. When I say family, I'm about immediate. He's not married and has kids. So
I think he's not the type. Even if he is, you wouldn't know much about them.
Right? Do you understand? No, that doesn't really ring true with me. So whether that's posturing on the agent's behalf or whatever, to see him in any other jersey, especially a Tottenham or an Arsenal, that would be sacrilegious. And he doesn't seem the type of person to do that out of spite. If you look in the dictionary and you look up humble, you probably see his photograph there. He's a very humble person, very modest indeed. He used to run to his training ground in France, I read. He was, because he wanted to keep in shape, jogging. And then I believe when it was here, he has a Mini. It's like not exactly a Ferrari. He's a very humble person. So I don't think he's motivated by money per se, even though everyone has to be to a certain extent, because you need to feed your family. I get it. But I don't see money as the motivating factor in him. That's just my opinion. That's how I view him. I could be wrong. But I truly believe that he's okay. If he wants to stay in London, go play for QPR or Luton Town. Don't play for Arsenal.
You and I know, I'm sure, Roger, I'm sure you're well aware that that's never going to happen. If he ever stays in London, he's probably, picking from the biggest clubs in London.
I'm jesting, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I'm Boehly or whomever, I give him what he wants because he's an exceptional player. I don't think it's even up for discussion, and I don't think it's far fetched for me to say that virtually every other Premier League or Big Five league manager would give their firstborn to have him. You know, I really rate him that highly. I think he's our best player, regardless of position.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the owners they're seeing the same thing we're seeing because for him to have rejected the offer in the first place shows. Again, I don't know him too well to say this is what I think the reason behind him rejecting it, but I'd say probably he feel disrespected. Again, in the first place, it was a 3+1 was on the table for him. Now you just switched it to 2+1 plus all the what I'm going to repeat myself about saying I hated Thomas Tuchel talking openly how the club would factor his injury record into the new contract and all that. To me, that was disrespectful.
Excuse me, Coach, can I ask you? I haven't seen the interview or the conference where he's actually said that. So could it have been taken out of context?
Are you serious? No, it wasn't. He said that clearly.
It's a question. It's a question.
Eddie, did you not see that video?
I haven't seen it.
Excuse me, if you're in the chat, let me know if you haven't seen the video where Thomas Tuchel talked about N'Golo Kante's injury, how that will be factored into the new contract. I saw that. I'm sure it's not in my dream.
Sure. No. I wasn't disputing it. I'm just asking because I haven't seen it. Actually,
I'm just saying.
I'd like to actually see that. Send me the link. I'd be interested.
Yeah, okay. I'll try and find it, but it'll be difficult. I don't know which one, but I'll try and find it. Arsenal will pay Kante any amount and give him the money he wanted. We shouldn't make some mistake. Maybe Arsenal won't be that much interested because you could say, Partey, is it Thomas Partey or what's his name, the Ghanaian?
Yeah.
He's doing, again, a good enough job for them. But there's a chance they jump the opportunity of getting Kante because he's a different breed altogether. PJ Artist, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. He says, Coach, long time indeed. Again, as I seek to, find balance between YouTube videos and my doctoral program, I think maybe I'll be doing more of evening shows, but that doesn't mean Blue Morning Show will go away. I just need a co-host to come along to help me keep things going. CFC Steven says Kante to Arsenal or Tottenham is fake. Nobody's saying that's a certain, but we're saying if he's saying he wants to remain in London, should he leave Chelsea? Those are the two most, the two options that comes to mind. Because what other club do you think he'd agree to join, other than Arsenal and Tottenham? Think about it, and that's especially too if he leaves on a free. If he gets to leave on a free, you don't get to tell him where to go. You only get to tell him, have a say in what club he joins if you're selling him. Let's say in January we want to sell him. You say, okay, we don't want to sell you to Tottenham or Arsenal. We want to sell you to a certain club or that. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Do you know who would really die to get him? Would be Liverpool. Liverpool.
Because they're looking for a midfielder now, and again, he'd do a good enough job for them in that position, and probably feel like they'd be able to accommodate him without him getting injured all the time. I voted for Kante to stay, but I can see the problem there is agreeing a contract from the club's side, and again, I get your point there, and it's if you ask me, I'd argue maybe the club. They've looked at things and probably felt like they can do without him. It's as simple as that. Again, we won EPL Champions, Europa League, FA Cup, and guess what? Kante was one of the best. It's as simple as that. And just quickly, now that I saw PJ Artist, I don't know if he was one of the contestants. If you're one of those who are, again, the contestants for the Roman Abramovich contest, remember, you get to win $150 if you win it. You have, again, I extended the date. You have until the 15th of this month to submit your entry, and then reach out to me via Twitter so I can tell you all about the rules and what you need to do. So again, did I read that again? Yes, I read that. And King Eye says, please, Kante is a legend of Chelsea. In fact, he is the best at Chelsea. We shouldn't lose him. Again, it's not up to us. We're just concerned, and that's why we're talking about it here. Just got back from my 4-week vacation from Portugal. Woo! I'm jealous. Every day I go to vacation in 3 days, 4 days, I'm back as quickly as that. But nice to have you back, brother. Again, I hope you enjoyed yourself. They won't sell him. Potter is not a dummy. It again, as much as Potter has a say in that, I think there are other factors such as the club feeling like again they won't be getting the value from paying him that much money. Those things will come into play. And here we have a Faldi as a boogeyman. He's a Kalilo, 15.4 million a year in wages on 5 years. Someone explained to me 4 years of Kante is not financially sound. Nonsense. Do you see the argument there? I think he can help you. You will not regret paying this guy how much he's asking. But then again, it's not up to us. Like I said before, we'll probably get a false sense of security given that we've played 2-3 games without him, and if we'll probably feel like the midfield is okay without him, we can actually do without him and let him go. But again, I will regret it. I will not kill myself. Chelsea is the entity I support. Kante is just a player, and players come and go, but I will not be happy. I have to be honest. Let me see what else I have to take here. I remember, the same Kante injury under Frank Lampard. When Tuchel came, he became one of the best, and won us a Champions League. Same here. Again, we shouldn't worry about injuries. Again, it's not down to us, but I get your argument. In all these, does Potter want him to stay? I think he wants him to stay. I'm not sure he knows what he's capable of doing. But that's me speculating. I'm not sure. We're not sure. But to me, again, I'm going to repeat myself. From what I'm sensing, it doesn't look like the club values him that much. If they feel like, they can do without him. But Roger, let me quickly ask you this question. I will try the best I can to still get what we have in the chat.
Sure.
The treatment of Kante, because it's out there already, wouldn't it be, if we let him go, and if the relationship ends in a bad note, again, we started hearing some complaints from his own camp. Wouldn't it be come across as if the club they just used him and dumped him? Because some would argue that's the case.
It would, from a PR standpoint, it would be awful for us. We would be vilified across all the sports outlets like Sky, ESPN, etc., etc. This would not bode well for Chelsea. There's two things to this also I want to mention. First of all, not only do we lose, so we are subtracting from our talent pool on our roster, but we're also adding to potentially one of our rivals. So it's a double negative. Additionally, if Potter stresses that and values Kante, which I believe he does from what I've heard from him, and he puts his point across to the DOF or Boehly, whoever that may be, and he is let go, his contract is not renewed, I think maybe Potter will feel a little bit slighted by that, and probably deep down, maybe his input isn't as valued as highly if he does, in fact, state that this is a major player for Chelsea and historically is, and he's unique. He's irreplaceable. He's one of a kind, and that's just not my opinion. I think that's mentioned across the board from pundits near and far on all different kinds of media. I'm talking about credible pundits too, and journalists. Like Gabriel Marcotti, etc. Of that ilk. So I think it would be a slap in the face to Potter also if his input isn't valued. I mean,
and that is if he wants him,
right? And I think he does, from what I can tell. If you listen to the interview, the press conference he's done recently about the question about valuing him, about reeling him back. He said that he's a valuable member of our. I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, not verbatim. So I think he does. I think he does get that impression that he holds him in high esteem, just like Tuchel does.
Yeah, so, Roger, how about you from a PR standpoint? Like again, Roger said, and from people feeling like, because players do pay attention to this, and again, if you have again, you could say under Roman Abramovich, my concern then was how players who close to 30, how they'd be reluctant to join us, given the fact that we started, you could say, we treat players who are, again, above 30 as outcasts, or start deciding to, we're usually reluctant to offer them long-term contracts. I think that over time would have become an issue had it continued, but they changed a bit since, again, after the arrival of, you could say, Thiago Silva. But in this case, let's say from a PR standpoint, and then some people already arguing, we used up Kante, we were the ones that ran into the ground, and now we're dropping him because we're feeling like he's injury prone. Do you think that creates, again, a problem, an underlying issue for the club that will probably be talked about in the future or even immediately, especially if he joins a rival club, any other club, and starts doing well, and we start seeing less and less of that injury issues that that's being highlighted as a reason why they're not offering him a long-term contract. What do you think, AD?
Yes. You see, one thing that we have to be, we should be ready for the worst scenarios to play out with these new owners. We can't really, because as I said earlier, they are not really footballing people that per se. So we'll be surprised. There are a lot of changes and a lot of decisions that will take that ordinarily the fans would not want to be taken. But if we look at it, if we put out this out there, say, what would we rather want going forward? Keeping Kante and blocking the chances of the likes of Cassidy and most like maybe getting Bellingham in and Declan Rice. Or we don't get Declan Rice or Bellingham in for the sake of keeping Kante and not allowing the young lads like Cassidy, Chukwuemeka and all to have the time with the team. And then we grow a team that is young in age, that can compete regularly, fit, because they will look at it from that angle that how dependable will Kante be going forward? That is the bigger picture that they will be looking at. We are looking at it from that emotional point that, what Kante had done for the club, what way we have looked at him and the way he's carried himself as a footballer. But if we want to look at it going forward, the board, the new owners will look at it from their own angle of, okay, is he ready to take a pay cut for them to say we want to give him this, which I don't see happening. And they will look at it from that point of view that, okay, we have a bigger project for this football club going forward. We need to sign the likes of Declan Rice if it's possible, the likes of Bellingham if it's possible, maybe let the likes of Jorginho leave and bring down the age of the team. So we look at it from that angle that they are trying to build something which we might be surprised because they don't have a lot of allegiance to, no kind of emotional attachment to Kante. They were not there as owners when Kante did all what he did. So going forward, whatever they have now is a clean slate for them, for everybody.
That's actually a very important point. It's easy for them to make that decision. Again, had it been the previous owners, it would have been difficult. So emotional attachment to Kante, I think I think that's a delicious point right there. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's not there for them. So they don't have it. Was Abramovich. Abramovich has that. Abramovich would never, even half fit Kante will remain there in and around the football club. But these new owners, they don't have, they just, oh yes, Kante was doing it for them. But they will think we're going to get the better Kante coming into the football club. That's the way they look at it. Okay, we know what we have now, but we don't know what we'll have coming. If they brought in another player that would even, the club will say, yes, it was a good decision and all. So, and I would be surprised if Kante, as I said earlier, I don't think Kante would go to Arsenal. He might go to Tottenham, but not to Arsenal. Arsenal got Partey. And Partey too is in and out, always in and out of the club, injured. So they won't want to sign another player in the mode of Kante that they're not sure will give them that fitness as well. So I don't really see that happening for Arsenal. But for Chelsea, I'm telling you, we should be prepared for the worst. We should be prepared. And we fans of Chelsea Football Club should be prepared because these owners are going to take these decisions that will not go down well with a lot of the fans. But I tell you, they will look at it from their own angle. And then come to talk about Potter. If they ask him,
hello. Yeah. Eddie, are you still
Potter
there?
to say, no, I don't want Kante. You wouldn't say that. Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect Potter to say, oh, no, I don't want Kante coming back, or I don't want to have him in the squad. He wouldn't answer. They wouldn't say that. Yeah, obviously, he's going to play it. He's going to play it out there. Oh, yes, it's very important because he's one of the big players in the team. So we don't expect anything less from him to say, oh, he's not going to have Kante. No. So, but what we need to know is that I for one, I see something happening that this board, they are ready to take decisions that will not be in the best interest of we fans, but they will think in their own interest and what the picture they have to put out there, what it's going to look like. Because if you look at going for the likes of, and they were talking about Birmingham as well, that we might think it's a rumor. It might not be rumor. At the end of the day, it might not be rumor at all. Because if they are thinking of, based on
Yeah, Eddie, looks like you might have to. Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Yeah, if we are thinking of bringing in the likes of Kuku, where would Birmingham be in the team? Where would Birmingham be in the squad? And it's all considering his age. So if we think it's a rumor that Birmingham is being linked to Paris Saint-Germain or something, to the owners, it might not be. We don't know what they're thinking. They're thinking differently from what we are thinking. So if they're thinking of bringing them players, Birmingham might be going out of from the club. And don't forget, it was Tuchel that brought Birmingham in per se. So it's just kind of we're going to see a lot of changes. We're going to see a lot of changes, and these people, the way they're acting, they want to go faster than what would look like normal, the way football fans and football clubs should be done. That's why they call them that they are shopping everywhere for everything. They want to try, if they can shop everywhere, they want to get everything done as quickly as possible. So there are certain things that we might end up seeing that we might not feel, oh, this shouldn't have been done because from a footballing point of view, it wasn't the right. But for them, they want to do it. And that's what we should prepare our minds for now. We should just be very, very open-minded about what the decisions will come as fans.
Boogeyman says, go ahead, Roger.
Sorry for interrupting. I think Eddie brings up some valid points, but I just want to counter that with maybe because they're not inherently exposed and avid European/Premier League supporters historically, I would assume that they would have the ear of good advisors, people that know. And I think what's missing from this equation is a director of football, for a man or a woman to come in to know a direction and have a football ethos and recognize who this person is. Because if you look at 19 other Premier League director of football, I don't believe, unless we are not privy to medical knowledge, I believe it would warrant keeping him. 19 other director of footballs would want that. So I find that hard to believe that they would come in and be quote unquote gunslingers and be very, shall we say, off the hip, off the cuff, very, very naive to do that. If that is indeed the case, Eddie, then there are a bunch of what we would call Jerry Jones, the chaps, the owners, the billionaires who bought the Dallas Cowboys, firing Tom Landry, I mean, the only cowboy coach ever. So it would be reminiscent of that. And that would not bode well for Chelsea. I'm hoping that they have good counsel. So that's what I wanted to say.
No, I think the fact is I'm not really concerned about what the perceived lack of their knowledge of football by the new owners. I think they are smart people. They don't. Boehly especially did not become a billionaire by being dumb. I think he's putting the right people in places, in the proper places to help him make the right decisions. But that's, by the way, here Boogeyman says, if these whole hesitation rumors are true, if I was a Kante, I wouldn't even renew with Chelsea. Too much disrespect. After all he did for us, CFC without Kante is an average mid-table team. Again, you could argue that in all 40 games we've done better since he came to the club. It's bad. You could say he was part of 95% of them at least. But that's, by the way, again, I understand your argument there. I hope he doesn't feel the same. I'm still hopeful they'd find a common ground, come to an agreement and let him stay at the club. He
Likewise.
is, again, that important. Our fans are always quick to judge, get carried away. Even a cover has more injuries than Kante last season. I don't have the numbers to say I agree or disagree with you on that one. But when you have Kante, you show, again, of winning big trophy. You're sure of winning big trophy for sure. Again, that's not, again, a lie at all. That's the truth. I swear I cannot see him in an Arsenal or Spurs jersey. That's you cannot. But if he leaves on a free, he may, well, again, he has the right to join any of those two clubs. You can't stop him from doing that. And here, again, when you have a Kante, again, yeah, I've read that. I understood that you meant sure. Again, your phone is trying to help you type. I wonder why Chelsea fans, again, we are like, no, that comment, no, pay attention. Again, that comment amounts to sexism, and you should be cautious on how you use languages. We don't condone that here. Smith David says, good morning, bro. Good morning to you too, Smith David. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. It will be sad to see Kante leave Chelsea. Again, we need to do everything possible to keep him. Again, if he were to the fans, if it were for the fans, if the decision were up to the fans, I think he stays. But again, a lot of factors do come into play. If the owners feel like the club can do without him, and they're not willing to up his salary to the measure that he wants, I don't see him staying, and that's concerning to me because I deep down believe he still has more to offer to us than most people think. I've read that one too. Again, my brother Eric Blue says, honestly, I would give Kante the 3-year contract. I would, especially, again, what got me confused is that under Roman, again, we had a 3+1 offer for him on the table already. Why change it? Why change it? That's definitely what I do not understand. If I were Kante, I wouldn't take it because I had something better on the table before you came. So why change it? Which means you don't value me. It's as simple as that. That's how I see it. Honestly, again, I've read that one. And here again, Kante deserves again a 3-year contract. If he was in another club, would buy him and give him a 3-year contract. Again, let's be honest, if he's not, if we don't have that injury record to look at. Fairboy well said, did I miss anything that Fairboy said there? Did I miss any of Fairboy's contribution in the chat there? Because somebody just said Fairboy well said. It just seemed as if I missed his content. Apologies if I did. If you had any contribution in the chat there and I missed it, apologies. Kante isn't available all the time. To give him 3-year plus 1, it doesn't make business. That's the point. That's how I think the owners see it. Business sense. It's business for them. Again, they probably, calculating or checking, okay, if we give him this much money, are we going to be able to get that value from him? But if you ask me, I'd say yes. Kante is again, talk about big game players we have at the club. It is him, it is Thiago Silva. Who else? Again, I can't even comfortably name any other player and say, you'd see them perform no matter the size of the occasion. You'd see them perform. We've seen all this, even those who consider one of the best players in the team. In and you expect them to perform, but you don't get that from Kante. He's only one of those players that join the game 15 minutes before the end of the game and end up winning man of the match. Tell me who else have done that. We cannot do without him for now. We shouldn't get carried away. Again, it's not up to us, like I've mentioned before. Faber says Steve Chelsea. Okay, he's having a conversation with Steve Chelsea there. Chelsea selling Kante to Arsenal is no good. I don't think if he ends up joining Arsenal or Tottenham, it wouldn't that be because the club sold him to those any of those clubs. Again, if he leaves on a free, if he gets to leave on a free, that's when again the possibility of him joining either of those clubs again becomes high. But if Chelsea are selling him, and in January we decide to sell him, if Tottenham wants him, would ask them something in return, which I know what we're going to ask them in return, and which we would just throw the whole conversation into a gutter. I don't think it will happen. But that's, by the way, again, the conversation, if he gets to leave on a free, chances of that happening will be very high. Giovanni Jafta, Chelsea selling Kante again. I've read that, but I wanted to say hello to you too, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Here we have again, why don't we sell Jorginho, sign another CM, and keep Kante? Why Chelsea always are stubborn by giving older players contract, but we're quicker to buy over 30 from other clubs and give them 3-4 years. Again, those things where I think the fact that, again, Koulibaly got, again, is it 3+1, Auba 2+1, again, and Kante, who's been with the club, served the club very well, and now you're telling him he should take 2+1. Probably with lower salary, there's a chance, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. That was the argument for most people there. So Dan, let me get your thoughts. What do you think of the situation?
Big up to everyone in the channel. Big up to everyone in the chat. Yeah, Kante's news now is shocking me. This is false news, I think it is, coach. I still think that Chelsea's still in talks with N'Golo Kante, but hasn't proceeded yet. But I think Todd Boehly's just trying to figure out what deal we could get for Kante. And if we can't get this deal with Kante over the line, him going to Arsenal is going to be a big shock, because the thing is, as you know, Kante is one of our players. He's always been a good player for us, and he's got the talent for us, Chelsea. Yes, he's had the injury problems, and it's been really bad with his thing, and he hasn't played games. But with Kante, everyone else knows Chelsea loves Kante so much, coach. Yeah, and if he goes to Arsenal, it's going to be a really big threat. If he goes, is he going to be like the second choice as a bench player for Thomas Partey? Because if he goes there, he's going to see himself, why I'm not getting enough games in for the Arsenal Football Club. But I see my point of view where this stories came along with Kante is a big rumour, and I just don't think Chelsea will sell Kante to a rival club, Arsenal, who are actually doing well in the Premier League for a minute, and we should keep the player. I understand if we could get a replacement for Kante for next season, but we haven't got any replacement midfielders. Who would we get for a replacement over Kante for next season? There's literally no one for a minute. We haven't signed no one. So it would be a big shock if we actually get rid of Kante, coach. You know what I mean? So, but I just don't see any possible. If you guys disagree to me, but I don't think Kante will be going anywhere. If we stay at Chelsea. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Big up.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a matter of being sentimental about Kante. I'm just looking at it from a factual perspective.
Yeah, don't worry. Liam Lane is just fighting me. He likes fighting. But go ahead. Yeah.
I just don't see it being sentimental. I see it from the point of view that I believe, in my honest opinion, that he's our best player. That's just how I see things.
And you don't let your best player go.
No,
you don't.
If he's past his prime, let's say he's 36, 37, I mean, assuming he can even play that long, because don't forget, his game is predicated on covering a lot of space. So when you look at like a goalkeeper, obviously the most adverse, different perspective for covering ground, or like a sitting CB, they don't cover as much space as someone that is box to box like he is. He, for all intents and purposes, covers probably more ground than any other Chelsea player during a match, or very close to it on a consistent basis. So his tire wear is going to be high. So his game is predicated on actually covering so much of the pitch. So therein lies the issue. Can he sustain? Don't forget, his injuries aren't like blowing out a knee or anything. It's usually a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken, or a calf. And that's a muscle
And
injury.
you could argue we've actually mishandled his
Oh,
injury or
definitely.
maybe his recovery process. We usually rush him back quickly because of how important he is to the team. But go ahead.
I think it's been rushed prematurely on several accounts. Pointing case, he shouldn't have been playing in that final. You know, I mean, it was a final, so therefore I understand the meaning of it. But yes, we haven't used him judiciously enough. You know, I saw something on ESPN a year or two ago about most people over the age of 30 get injuries post 70 minutes plus. And so we need to sub him. We need to use him far more cautiously and judiciously, in my opinion.
Did you think we overdone? Do you think we
just quickly, let me read this. We don't have too much time. I want to bring in IBC because he hasn't said anything. Sorry, Dan. Again, you joined late. I want to read this a few comments and bring in IBC. We are all, again, Chelsea fans and want the best for the club and have to trust the board to do what's best for us all. Yeah, I'm the same. That part of your comment, I agree. We all get sentimental about our players that are legends. That's the truth. I'm not going to lie. We have to look at all angles. Again, we're not seeing the angles. That's the problem. We're not able to factor in the angle of the board to our own decision making. Again, to them, they know us. We don't know theirs. But that's why I understand the argument. Again, I love it so much. Again, he's not taking a pay cut, and I wouldn't even agree with that. Again, why would he? That's the question. Is if he gets to live on a free, he gets a sign-on fee plus probably gets a bigger salary. We should start giving Chukwuemeka a chance again before selling him. We're not going to sell him. I think he gets a chance again. You could argue had it not been that he got ill, I think the opportunity for him to play against Crystal Palace, I think he would have played against Crystal Palace. But unfortunately for him, he wasn't. He was ill. Good night, Coachila and Pana. Good night to you too. I hope you're doing well. And my brother Eric Blue said Kante isn't blocking anyone's path. He barely plays. I think that one is directed at AD, and and he makes it's a good point. How many games he get? That's hilarious too. As much as I know Eric made a good point there, it is funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But here we have again, maybe again he has a problem with players or a manager or with parents. Okay, I think I need some MPI agents or MI5 to help me decipher that one. But Minati Paul, I think I have a bit of an idea of what you're trying to say there. But that's, by the way, again, big up, Coach, big up to you, to Danny, you're on the panel. Why am I reading your comments? It's even, I don't want to see, again, no, please don't. No name calling here. I don't think that's okay. No name calling. No name calling. Even if you don't like what it's about to do, no name calling. I don't think that's okay. Again, good night. The Queen of the House. See you tomorrow during the. Ken, I don't know if we're gonna do Blue Morning Show. It's gonna be packed, really. Maybe we'll space it out a bit. We can have fun trying to predict the lineup. I don't see anything else here. I'm gonna come to IBZ a bit because there's so much to read there in the chat. So IBC, your thoughts on the Kante situation? I'm sure you must have heard that if he wants to stay in London. And if that's the case, the two clubs that come to mind, if he eventually, gets to leave on a free, and what you think will happen. But your thoughts on the whole situation overall?
Oh, big up, man. Good evening,
yeah, big up, brother. Apologies for not saying hello to you first.
It's all good. How you doing, man? It's a bit fun.
Good.
You're doing an evening show.
I think I'm going to start. It's going to become a regular thing now. More of it, man. Less of the Blue Morning Show. Yeah.
With N'Golo Kante, I'm not going to speak on situation. This guy hasn't played any football, in my opinion, this season for us to critique or judge. The new manager hasn't even seen him, how he's going to fit him in. So I don't think it will be fair to say if he's going to leave or not. But if you will ask me, for the sake of the conversation, I think it's absolute horse manure. This is not happening. If you ask me, he's just too invaluable for you to even say, "Oh yeah, consider." Now, obviously, we have an owner who I believe may not have a direct influence on this guy's contract as we may imagine, but with what he's offered or what he's rejecting, that will work itself out. It will take maybe in January I'll revisit this angle if nothing has sufficed over the World Cup and or in the nearest weeks or in that time. January is where I'll probably start thinking if there's no contract signed, that's where we kind of get worried. That's where European teams have the option to speak to Kante.
Yep.
And secure a deal. I would like to imagine before then, and or in January we'll secure a deal. So I won't want to speculate his future, but we can't let that go. That guy can't go anywhere. We'll be foolish to do that. I saw reports about us offering him to Tottenham. I think that's absolutely rubbish again.
That one is horse do on its own. Go ahead.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. I let it play out. He's got a lot of football to play. He needs to get fit. The team needs to know.
Actually, IBZ, you bring up a good point. Come January, people like PSG will go for him.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's when.
That
they can wait it out. I think they're loaded in the midfield area. Why pay for him if you have an agreement? If you can talk with them and again, I think January he's allowed to sign a pre-agreement, right? Or what time?
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They can boss man rolling type thing.
Yeah, so why pay for him? And PSG are loaded in the midfield area, so why be in a rush to pay for him? And France is home for him. If he ever agrees to join them, they can wait.
Exactly, Coach.
It's something that I don't think will happen, in my opinion. Again, this is football.
People say he's our legend. People say he's our legend. People say
IBC, while I'm still with you, IBC, the question is this again. We learned the hard way again. We learned again from a situation again. A situation where you can say nobody in the Chelsea fan base wanted to happen. Fofana's injury showed us how much of a mistake it would have been to let a Chalobah go.
Oh, yeah. This is why you don't sell players based on reactions. This is why you wait things out. You let. We could critique how much valuable that is. Like you don't just sell Chalobah. Like that's a homegrown talent, number one. You could even argue now we maybe needed another centre back. You could even argue that, but it is what it is. 6 weeks I'm hearing. So again, like I predicted.
4 weeks, at least a month. But let's be sincere here now. Again, I'm not sure if it is the same knee injury that he's had in the past, a reoccurring knee injury. Some people are starting to say it looks like again he's really injury prone and haven't paid that much money for him. That we're in trouble because 4 weeks isn't 4 days really.
No, but yeah, and obviously with the fixtures that's coming up, I think obviously we're going to see more of Trevor now, more of Aspilicueta. So it's a setback, but it's not something that I hope will cost us too dearly. I think we'll find, albeit there are no more recurring injuries. So other player I'm really worried about next is Thiago Silva. If that gets injured, then that's obviously a concern of mine. But other than that, I hope to think he may even come back sooner than later. I hope so. But yeah, I don't want to be worried too much about it. But it can be something that could cost us because games are coming in thick and fast. And if one goes, what's to say the other can't go? So Thiago Silva is the other worry I have. Other than that, maybe even Levi Cole should be licking his lips like, oh, I should be here, But we are where we are. And
Chalobah himself again. This shows you there's a chance again. We based our judgment on whether he was going to leave the club based on what we're hearing out there, not really from what the kid himself was saying. During an interview, actually said specifically he wasn't going to leave. He's not planning on leaving. And here he says again, Chalobah on his future, I am at Chelsea. This is my club. And that's the part maybe I pay attention to. It again, and I'm sure he understands there's no way Fofana will play the whole, again, a 40-plus game, or again, I don't know how many in total. Let me know, just make up number and throw it out there. will not play the whole season alone. There's going to be rotation, especially now that the games will be coming thick and fast. But now it's just him and Aspi. But it would have been, again, we'll be realizing by this time, realizing how much of a mistake, again, it is had we let him leave the club when we thought he'd leave.
And this is what I'm saying. It's just a concern. I'm slow to disagree because we've just come back into the round of fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
And the second round of fixtures after the break we've had, we've got one player down, and we aren't even scratched the surface of fixtures that we're about to go into. So there is a small concern, but I'm not going to worry because my expectations are already low. So we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully, it's not going to cost us too dearly. Obviously, Trevor, stay fit, be on point, and I have all faith in him. But yeah. You just mentioned as well, because we know that him and Aspilicueta are only two centre backs. You know, that's a bit of a scary one there. But yeah,
indeed.
I think we can play Cucurella now. You know, this is now arguments to say, are we now going to put a three at the back with Cucurella now playing as a left centre? You know what I mean now, because of the situation. But we see what happens.
Yeah, just quickly, Chama Joseph says good afternoon, evening, and good afternoon to you too. I hope you're doing well. I think 82% wants us yes, yes, please for evening shows. 18% says no, it's usually my bedtime. So we're gonna plan for evening shows these days. And again, like I said before, I'm trying to reshuffle things a bit. So again, to focus also halftime for my doctoral program because I've had issues in the past, probably because I immersed myself in the YouTube thing and then not paying so much attention as I should be. But I will fix that definitely. Again, it will be better to sell him to another league club. Again, if it is January, if anybody wants to buy him, I don't think the club will sell to Arsenal or Tottenham. Again, but if he leaves on a free, he has every right to join whatever club he wants to. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chelsea give Kante a new contract. It's as simple as that. That's how I see it. But again, it's more complicated than what we want. A fair boy saying, hello to Choma. Fairboy, if you have time, please do share the link to your channel so that everybody can go check it out and subscribe if they have time. Again, I hope you are doing well. Just saying hello to each other. I'm coming back to the panel here. We have something that shows, I think, the players have all moved on from Thomas Tuchel. And you could say, again, they're professionals. We expect them to do that. But I don't know if this was intentional, if the interviewer probably targeted Thiago Silva to see if it says something, but something, how they behave, and then they'll cook with it and take it out of context. He says, Thiago Silva and Porta, he's a special guy, a very nice guy, and a humble guy. We've had just a few conversations. He doesn't need to be perfect in the dugout. He knows how to manage the players well. And again, he gets to organize the team well. This is very, again, a human, humble communication. Again, I don't know. Some people will even read this and still, it twists something, that especially this area where he said it doesn't need to be perfect in the dugout. Some people can take it and run with it and then make up some nonsense, and people will still suck up to it. But that's by the way. I don't know if anybody on the panel has anything else to say, so we can call it a day.
Yeah, quickly, just before it's the end of the day, I'm sorry I came out late, Coach. I just want to know if you guys heard about there was a rumor. I was on a show earlier about there was a statement with Potter with Thiago Silva saying how this was really good news for how Thiago plays Potter, but they were saying about if Kante, is one of our legends, and it's a shame for Fofana. But there's a reckon this could be a part of a deal if Kante don't sign a contract for next season. We're going to get Slaten Ibrahimovic from Juventus, and Kante might be going to Juventus instead of to any other Premier League club, because as there was a rumour with Slaten Ibrahimovic, coach, there's been arguments with the coach and he don't want to be at a Juventus club, and now they're thinking about swapping Kante for Ibram for Juventus. I don't know if it's a rumour or not. Yeah, no. Yeah, there was a thing on
IBC,
Twitter
go ahead. You
about-
want to touch on that again? We should be rounding off like in 2 minutes or so.
No. There's nothing to touch on. Nothing.
I have
Okay.
one question, if I may, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the availability of, like, if we do tap on wood, my head, experience any more injuries on the defensive line. People like Ethan Ampadu, he's on loan somewhere in Italy, Spezia, isn't he?
Yes.
So in this contract for a loan, are we allowed to call him back?
The only thing I heard is it Venezia? What's the name of that club? The president said openly that Chelsea aren't willing to sell him.
Good.
Yeah, and Chelsea understand what a talent he is. I think we want him back. Again, but if he's coming back, it will be, you could argue for the Thiago Silva role. I think I remember because I watched that game live myself, the Club America game in Las Vegas here.
Sure.
When he came on, when he led centrally, I think even Thomas Tuchel did say then after in a post-match conference that I think he's capable of leading the back line comfortably, and he's able to pick up passes from that deep, but maybe not as maybe not as good as Thiago Silva, but he's still young and
He's
can
22.
over time able to fulfill that role perfectly.
But can he be called back in case of an emergency?
That's one thing I'm not sure about.
No,
that's one thing I'm not sure about.
No, you can't, Coach. No, you can't. Because once you sign a year contract, you've got to have to be for a year till the end of the season. And if it's like they're better.
Well, I've seen other loans where people have been called back, where the loan's been cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
So, or does that have to be on mutual consent?
No, it depends. It depends on the clause of the contract. If a loan
Sure.
could be a straight loan. A loan could be a buyback option to buy. A loan could have a clause to be terminated. A loan could have the clause to recall the player back. You can only recall the player back within the window. So, like Gallagher, I don't know if there was a clause in Gallagher's contract for a recall. Thomas Tuchel opted not to use it. I'm not too sure. But
so that's what I'm asking. Is there a callback? Is there a recall?
I don't know. We'll have to look into that contract to see if there's a.
I don't think so. I don't think there's a recall.
I don't think there is. There is none for Ampadu.
Okay, because the reason why I say that is I perceive our back line to be quite thin. You know?
Yeah, that's it. And if we didn't add any of our loans that we sent out, if we didn't add at least one callback in them to activate in the window, then that's a bit naive from our
exactly. I totally agree.
Yes, William. William.
Can I just quickly add this, Coach?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what if back on N'Golo Kante? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if the club tells him after the World Cup you give up international football to save your career, and then we give you the 3+1?
Oh, that's a good talk.
Yeah, that's a good talk. That's a good talk.
He might even make the decision himself. He doesn't even probably. This is what I'm saying. Let's just stop the gun. Let's just drop. This guy probably prophesied the future already. N'Golo Kante he might even make the decision to even retire at the end of this World Cup, make it his last. You know what I mean? And then he might have that decision to even sign the contract anyway. You know? That's true.
Unless he wants to play for England, of course. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. He's fake.
Yeah,
but
I'm just joking.
Just quick, Coach. Yeah. I just want to know if Kante, because we've been on about Kante for ages, right? This is for you, IBC, quick, yeah, because you've got top loss football, right? With Kante and with that good speech about this World Cup after internationals, could you actually see if this actually going to happen? If we don't sign a contract, it would probably happen for you Juventus to get this Leighton over Kante, because we ain't got no other CDMs. And who are we going to replace?
This is it, yeah. If Kante is free in January, it's anyone's game in Europe. Anyone's game. If Kante is free by June, July, like Pogba was free by June, July, it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. It could be Juventus, and just to add on to the negotiations, we have no standpoint to negotiate with anyone over Kante because he's in his last contract. So we can't sell him. When are we going to sell him? In January? Are we stupid? So we can't go into no negotiations with anybody about Kante. Kante is his own man. He's his own thinking. He owns the cards if he wants to leave. and we have to make sure we offer him something for him to stay. That's it.
Or he signs for Yeovil Town.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm
Coach, let me love you and leave you.
That's all right,
I gotta get into the
love you
food.
too.
Hey, Dan, I'll catch you in a bit, guys, man.
All right, again, thank you very much, guys, for finding the time to join the panel. I cannot thank you guys enough. We've come to the end of the show.
God bless you,
because I have to go pick up my son from school. If not, again, I'll let it run. But I'll let it run. The automated version will run for a while. Again, without nobody on the panel, it will be showing the news, the automated tweets talking about Chelsea and all that. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you to everybody in the chat that found time to join the show.
Big up,
yeah. Thank you to Odds. Even thank you to Fairboy. Thank you to Liam Lane, the captain of the house. I appreciate you finding time to join. Thank you to Choma, one of the queens of the house. I appreciate you finding time to join. Thank you to Fairboy, my brother. Thank you to Boogeyman, my bro. I appreciate you. Thank you to Choma Joseph. Thank you to Steve Chelsea. Thank you to the coolest Chelsea, my brother. I appreciate you all. With that, we've come to the end of the show. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Bye. Catch you later. Bye.
you.